court today is giving judgment in the leadership crisis rocking the Labour Party. The court has sacked Julius Abure as the chair of the Labour Party and has affirmed Nana Usman as the authentic leadership of the party. And controversies over the attack in Kaduna State and the abduction of people from churches on Sunday has gotten a lot of attention. Tonight we'll be hearing from the police to clear the air on the matter. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I am Sean Kimale, right here in Abuja. So much to talk about, and let's get straight to it. Let me take you to the courtroom first and foremost, where Justice Peter Lifo, the Federal High Court of Abuja today, recognized that Nana Usman-led executive of the Labour Party is now sacking Mr. Julius Abure as the national chairman of the party. In the judgment delivery today, Justice Lifo relied on the April the 4th, 2025 verdict of the Supreme Court to declare Senator Nana Usman as a valid leader of the party. The court also ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to forthwith recognize the Senator Nana Usman-led caretaker committee as the only valid authority to represent the Labour Party pending when the party convenes a national convention. Justice Lifo held that evidence before him established that Abure's tenure as the national chairman of the Labour Party has since elapsed. Take a listen to the lawyers and the Nana Usman party of the Labour Party.
For the avoidance of doubt, the court also ordered that INEC should, as a matter of fact, recognize every correspondence from Dr. Nana Usman as the valid and the only recognized chairman of Labour Party. The court went further to warn against all this shenanigan and superfluous grandstanding by people who want to run the party at their whims and caprices of running around and on forum shopping, going to court in Jos, going to court in Nasarawa, going to court here and there.
I believe that this is not just, it's not victory for Nana Usman, no. It's victory for Labour Party, it's victory for all Nigerians who believe in the Labour Party. I would want to seize this opportunity to call on all my brothers and sisters and say there is no victor, no vanquished. Let's come back, work together and build a stronger Labour Party.
All right then. There's so much to talk about tonight, including a lot of controversies, and I hope that tonight, all of you, wherever you may be, just sit tight, because you're getting a lot of clarity and perspective on so many issues. But let me serve you your political roundup stories first and foremost.
The Attorney General of the Federation, Mr. Lateef Fagbemi, as well as the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Kudira Kekereekun, have described court registrars as the backbone of the judicial process, critical to expeditious dispensation of justice. The senior judicial officers made the statement at a strategic retreat of the Committee of Chief Registrars of Nigeria in Abuja. They restated the assurance that the judiciary remains the last hope of the common man. Members of the African Democratic Congress in Gombe State are pledging to work together after resolving the leadership crisis rocking the party in the state. During an expanded reconciliatory meeting, the Awal Barde faction and the Ladiyo faction have signed a pact to work together as one indivisible African Democratic Congress in Gombe State. The leadership of the People's Democratic Party, led by Tanimu Turaki, says its presidential ticket for the 2027 general election will be zoned to the southern part of the country, and it will be open for every member in that region to contest. Mr. Turaki stated this after he led members of his National Working Committee and some members of the Board of Trustees in a visit to the former Vice President, Namadi Sambo, in Abuja. Addressing journalists after the closed-door discussions with the former Vice President, Mr. Turaki says the former Vice President president has promised to actively participate in the affairs of the PDP ahead of the 2027 general election. The Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, PFN, Rivers State, has intervened in the ongoing political crisis in the state, calling for restraint, dialogue, repentance, and announcing that the church will support a candidate in the 2027 general elections to bring an end to the crisis bedeviling the state. Speaking during a press briefing in Port Harcourt, the chairman of PFN in the state, Reverend Minaibi Dagogo Jack, expressed deep concern over the rising political tension and what he described as unhealthy political practices in Rivers State. Reverend Dagogo Jack said the fellowship observed with great dismay the political activities, unrest, and insecurity currently playing out in the state, stressing that the church is unhappy with the situation.
All right, and thank you so much indeed. You have been served with your political roundup stories. But let me quickly let you know that there are reactions, of course, to the judgment that we saw earlier, which we showed you about the Nnamdi Usman-led leadership of the Labour Party and how the court has affirmed it. But the Julius Abure-led group of the Labour Party says it will immediately appeal the judgment of the Federal High Court in the FCT, which has sacked him as the national chairman of the Labour Party. In that judgment, which we saw Justice Peter Leaf read today, with the verdict of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, was clear that the tenure of Abure as the national chairman of Labour Party had elapsed. But in a statement issued today by the National Public Secretary of the Labour Party, Obera Ifo, it says the Abure faction, the judgment was a clear contradiction of the ruling of the Supreme Court. The Abure group is urging members to remain calm, assuring that it will do everything within the laws to ensure that justice is served for the interest of the party. First and foremost, before I get to introduce my guest tonight on the program for you, let me touch on a very sensitive and a controversial matter which we are now seeking authorities to clarify these issues for us, because it involves lives of very innocent Nigerians. And it's about a report of a mass abduction of worshippers in some parts of Kaduna State, which have triggered widespread concern both locally and internationally, with conflicting accounts now emerging over what exactly happened in Karaming Wali, Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State, while several media reports and community leaders say scores of churchgoers were taken by armed gangs. The Nigerian police said details were initially unclear, urging caution as investigations continue. The force has since confirmed that an incident did not occur and that coordinated security operations are underway. But as pressure mounts on authorities to contain kidnapping and restore public confidence in the security across northern Nigeria, we're getting more clarity. But let me allow you to listen to the Commissioner of Police in Kaduna State. This was about a day or two ago, when they first said like nothing of such happened. Take a listen to the Commissioner of Police.
Yesterday we were informed that there is bandit attack in Karaming Wali, in Kajuru local government. We quickly mobilized our policemen, military and other security agencies to the area. But to our dismay this morning, till now that we are speaking, nobody is able to come out with any figure or name of any person that is kidnapped from that community. Our policemen, the chairman of the local government and other agencies were at the alleged scene of crime. We went there. Till now, there is no information about any attack or any kidnapping of over 300 persons.
We are here to make it abundantly clear to members of the public that the narrative from the Kajuru area that people have been kidnapped or whatever and the like of that is totally false, is not tenable, and we do not have any evidence of such.
All right, then. So you heard those statements, but fast forward a day and two later, there are confirmation. Community people say, yes, there are abductions. In fact, there was a publication of the names of those who were taken by these assailants. And also, we've seen now that one or two persons escaped that attack and they were telling the stories, but now we are hearing also from authorities what exactly happened on what has become a disputed incident of abduction of some Nigerians in these churches. In fact, some lawmakers in the United States are already reacting to this. But what exactly is happening as far as law enforcement is concerned? Let's hear from the Nigerian police force. And let's quickly bring in the CSP, Benjamin Hundeyin, who is the spokesperson of the Nigerian police force, who is live for us virtually. Thanks so much, Mr. Hundeyin, for joining us tonight.
Good evening, and thanks for having me tonight.
Can you give us, because a lot of Nigerians are concerned. On one hand, the government of Kaduna said there was no attack. The police commissioner in Kaduna said there was no attack. But we have now confirmed that there was actually an attack. What is going on here?
Thank you very much. I'm particularly happy that you played the video before asking me the question. So let's be very specific to what the Commissioner of Police said. At no point did the Commissioner of Police say there was no attack. If you listen carefully, the Commissioner of Police said information was received that there was an attack. And immediately, the police mobilized personnel to that place to find out what was really happening. And as at the point they got there was no eyewitness to say something happened. The people they met in the communities said they did not see anything. So there was no evidence to point to an attack. That was what the commissioner said, that there's no evidence whatsoever. So being a responsible commissioner, being a responsible agency, he said it as it was. 1, information was received. 2, we mobilized there immediately. 3, no evidence was received. So that was what he said. At no point did he say there was no attack. And good enough, being a responsible agency, the moment we got an eyewitness, one of the people abducted escaped and came out and was able to confirm that this happened. And there, shortly after, we also got names of people that were actually abducted. So the moment this concrete evidence came up, we owned up to it and we felt, and we know it's a duty, our own duty, to update Nigerians. And that was exactly what we did. We made no attempt to cover up anything. So we came out to issue that statement to say, yes, we now have evidence that there was an attack. And the Inspector General of Police, immediately, after the confirmation came in, directed the mobilization, which has taken place already, mobilization of operational and intelligence resources to that place. So as I speak to you, we have men from the police mobile force, we have men from the intelligence department, and every other aspect, tactical units on the ground, to ensure, the mandate is to ensure that these abducted persons are located and rescued safely and brought back home.
All right.
Over to your place.
Mr. Hundeyin, the report that we are hearing as from some of the leaders of the community and those who are around and who are investigating is show that about 172 worshippers were abducted, although there were no concrete information as to the exact scenario, the number and the statistics and the data and the identity of some of those people who have been taken in that community. But what can you tell us as far as the police authority is concerned? What do we know? How many people are taken that we officially know? How many people escaped? What exactly is the nature of the attack? Have we gotten any information from the assailants and those who were the kidnappers or the abductors? What exactly do we know now?
Thank you very much. One thing I can assure you is that we would always update you when the time is right. And for now, we don't have, it's not like we have any CCTV camera in that place that can tell us what exactly happened. And that was why we could not even immediately confirm that something happened until we got an eyewitness who came around. And we are still collating names. Members of the community have been asked to come put down names of people that they know have been missing since that day. So we are still collecting them. So we can't even give you an exact figure, but we have an estimate. So this is an investigation that is actively ongoing. And like I said, the moment we have further information, we will update Nigerians. But for emphasis again, we can confirm that this happened. We can confirm that in response to this incident, we have deployed all our resources there. In fact, today we scrambled one of our police helicopters to go there for air surveillance. That's how seriously we are taking this. The IGP gave that directive this morning and it was promptly complied with. In fact, the Commissioner of Police who had to go there to be on ground to supervise things for himself. So we don't have too many details for now, but one thing we can assure is that we will keep you updated.
Now, this is worrisome, though. The incident has drawn global attention almost immediately. Why wouldn't it? We're talking about over 100 or 200 people involved here in that incident. Does the police force accept that delays or inconsistencies in official statement may have worsened public panic and damaged trust in security agencies in this country?
Thank you very much. I would point out once again that there was no inconsistency from the statements coming from the police. The Commissioner of Police said, we received the information and immediately we mobilized there, and we are yet to get any evidence. I'm quoting him now. We are yet to get any evidence that this happened. And the moment we got evidence, we also came out to say we have got evidence. So there is no inconsistency. Yes, what you are referring to.
Sorry, apologies for coming. What is troubling to some of the community people is in the manner in which they were dismissed when this matter came up, when there was SOS coming from leaders of the community to say, this has happened to us, come to our rescue, come to our aid. But they were being dismissed almost immediately by those who they think and trust that will rescue or save them, that nothing of that nature is happening or has happened.
Joe, I don't think you can point to any evidence of anybody being dismissed. As a matter of fact,
that's what the community people were saying. That's what we heard them. That's what has been confirmed in the media, as to them saying that if there were immediate acceptance that this has happened, maybe some of these people would not have been taken far. But do we even know how far they have been taken? Do we know which forest they have been taken? What is the thread on their foot map, the heat map of these assailants? Where are they exactly? So they are complaining that the timing, the lag in response timing is a major crisis.
Sure, that place is very far. The terrain is difficult. The roads are not motorable. It's not quite easy to get there. But I'm giving you confirmation again that the moment the Commissioner of Police got wind of this, men were mobilized to that place. As a matter of fact, the chairman of the local government also gave in his own testimony that he personally went there to ask from community members. All they can do at that point was to ask, gather information. That's part of the investigation. Ask people around. And that's what they did. Immediately they got information, they went there and asked around. So the people that approached the police, that gave us information, which made us go there, were not the same set of people that the chairman met who said that there was nothing like that. So in the face of discrepancy, what we would do is to do further verification, which was what we did. We sent out men to further verify that this happened. If we did not care, we would not bother to even go there in the first place or to verify. And the moment we verified that this happened, lots of operational resources have been deployed there.
Finally, Mr. Wundanyi, Kaduna seems to have experienced some level of peace. That's as much as we know. We've heard Governor Ubasani saying that. We've heard a lot of people say seeming peace have returned into that area that was notorious for school kidnappings. In 3-4 years, we've recorded several school kidnappings. Hundreds of school pupils were taken. Literally, most of the schools in Kaduna State were being declared unsafe for students learning. But what could have gone wrong? We thought that things are calmer now. Did the police lose its guard, the security, and the border around Kaduna State suddenly got loose, to the extent that almost 200 people were taken from these churches and worship centers?
Well, Sheon, we are always on ground. We are always just a call away. You would agree with me that when you have resources and you have to make use of these resources for a whole lot of places, then you have to deploy them where they are most needed. So the moment we got wind of these facts, resources were deployed there immediately. So it's not like the police has gone to sleep or anything. No, we are actively there. It's not like we brought policemen from Abuja, like there were no policemen in Kaduna. No, we made use of police officers in Kaduna. All we needed to do was to deploy as the need arose. So we are there, and we are going to get to the root of this, and we'll also keep on working with members of the community to ensure that incidents of this nature do not occur again in that area and other parts of the country as a whole.
Benjamin Wundanyi, CSP, and the spokesperson of the Nigerian Police Force has been speaking with us. Thanks so much indeed. We are hoping to get more information, and perhaps, maybe, just maybe, some of these people, if they cannot sleep in their beds tonight or go back to their families tonight, maybe that could happen tomorrow. Hopefully, our hearts are with them. Thanks so much indeed for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Our attention will shift to governance, especially the issue of taxation and how it affects the average person. Tonight, Nigeria's new tax laws move to the center of a heated national debate. It's been days since the implementation started. And at the end of this month, we'll be getting a review of how far it has gone, where the federal government says the reforms are designed to widen the tax base, boost revenue, and stabilize the economy. Labor groups, small businesses, and many workers fear the changes could deepen the cost of living crisis. And at the same time, the opposition is using the controversy to question the economic direction of the Tinubu administration as the country quietly edges towards the 2027 elections. Our guest tonight is Senator Adams Oshiomhole, a former Labour leader and now a key voice of the ruling APC in the National Assembly. Is joining us to talk about some of these issues putting on the state of the nation. Thanks so much, Senator Oshiomhole, for joining us tonight.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Thank you for having me.
A lot is happening in Nigeria, and it doesn't look like a new year, and you thought that, well, maybe things will still matter. But we had a conversation around the tax laws, and we were thinking about when it was going to be proper for us to talk about it. I was fascinated, intrigued by some of your perspectives, which a lot of Nigerians may not see as popular, but it's an interesting perspective. You are wearing, or you used to wear, but you still wear that color as a Labour leader. I don't think that the comradeship has left your blood yet, because you spent more years of your life as a Labour man, being in government and being in the National Assembly. And those who are saying the plight of the average person is terribly impacted by some of the Tinubu administration policies. But from where you stand, one leg as a former Labour person and now as someone in government, where do you think this leaves the average person in Nigeria or the worker?
Thank you very much, Sheung.
Thanks.
But just for clarity, I can't have two identities. My identity is Labour. Labour is my life, and with pride. And I'm very proud of the fact that I could rise from a factory floor to the level that I am. And so I can't betray those convictions, not for any pot of porridge, no. But the issue of taxation for me is central to debates in elections. And conventionally, the right wing, who believe everybody to himself, God for all of us. You can construct your private road, you can do your private school and stuff like that. Everybody should pay for his health care and so on. They typically, if they can, avoid taxation completely, or reduce it to the benefit, or carry the burden to poorer people. I mean, if you monitor American debate, you will find that the Democrats are always on the side of lower taxes for the poor and higher taxes for the rich. And when the Republican comes in, then they will want to raise the tax of the poor and reduce the tax burden of the rich, both corporate as well as individual tax. In the context of current taxes, people talk about things they are not informed about. I don't need to be the president of Nigeria Labour Congress or of the TUC or an officiary of Labour to be able to defend what I perceive to be Labour interest. If I am wrong, it's my head, not my heart. Now, the fact on ground shows that President Tinubu's tax policy is consistent with the values of a progressive government. And the tax is a progressive tax policy, which sought to shift more burden to those who earn so much and even grant tax exemption to those who earn little. And I don't want us to talk without evidence. I will give you this document if you want it.
Yes, sir.
I'm a member of the National Assembly. I own up to anything that was done that I supported. And even the one I didn't support, if it carries the day, well, it is what it is. But in this case, I supported this tax reform absolutely. Because without taxes, let's face it, it is only in Nigeria people talk about people are stealing government money. Government is going to use money to do so. So government does not earn money. It is citizens that earn money, and government taxes those income that have been earned either by individual citizens or by corporate citizens. It is the sum total of those taxes that determine the annual income of nation states. We are in a situation where we are blessed with oil. And so I was old enough that even in colonial era, farmers, like my father, if you haven't paid your tax and the tax man is coming, you run into the bush. So even villagers will pay taxes. All of those ones now have been exempted somehow. But with regards to the formal sector, I'll just give you an example. Before the new tax regime, I will read this figure to you. Anybody earning 300,000 naira a year was completely tax exempt, the old order. But once you earn up to 500,000 naira a year, which means about 40,000 naira a month, you were to pay 9,660 naira a year as annual tax in an annual income of 500,000. Now, if you earn 1.2 million naira in a year, before you will pay 55,000 naira, 680 naira a year as taxes, or 4,640 monthly. Right now, if you earn, that is to say, if you earn 100,000 naira a month, right now, anybody earning 100,000 naira a month, under this tax law, is completely tax exempt. Government has transferred to that person or reduced his burden by 55,680 naira. So how can anybody say this is not pro-worker? This is pro-poor. Now, it graduates like that up to, for example, if you earn 10.8 million naira a year, in the old order, 10.8 million naira a year, you will pay 1,496,192 naira annual tax. But under the new tax regime, rather than pay 1.495, you are now going to pay 1.34. So even for those earning 10.8 million naira a year, they are paying less now, or they will pay less now than they were paying just last December. So how can anybody say this is not progressive?
Give us an idea.
Let me finish.
Yeah, okay, so
then if you earn 1 million naira a month, and that means 12 million naira a year, your tax liability before annually was 1,525,200 naira. In the new tax regime, the new tax law, President Tinubu has granted a reduction from where you were. Okay, there's a slight improvement, increase from 1,525,000 to 1,620.8 million naira annually. Now, without taxes, you can't run the state. And when you talk about reforms, I mean, don't take it from me. I watch you have a segment on international media and so on. We follow debates in UK, in US in particular in the election. Central to those debates is about taxes. Look at the debate between the Conservatives and the Labour Party. So conventionally, Labour people, working families, will be very happy with this tax regime because there is no worker who is a member of the Nigeria Labour Congress who earn 1 million naira a month, which comes to 12 million naira a year. There is none. There is none. That is the fact. So this, as far as salary earners are concerned, this tax is progressive. But what the president has even done, which I am surprised about when I hear KPMG having some issues, is that he has even reduced corporate tax. People like us wanted that corporate tax to be increased because my understanding of profit is that the directors have already earned higher pay, they've collected higher bonus, and whatever they declare as tax, right? After whatever they declare as tax, they proceed to share it among few people. And therefore, I believe that corporate tax should be higher. But this president reduced corporate tax because he wants to attract foreign investment and retain local investment. This is understandable because as the world becomes more and more liberal and everybody's moving towards the market, so it seems, even old socialist countries and even communist countries are now adopting market tactics. The dollar has the whole world as a possible investment destination.
All right.
Where it lands depends on several factors, including taxes. So let me say that this tax is consistent with what a progressive government should do. And Nigerians must understand that we are supposed to be talking about taxpayers' money because we are supposed to pay taxes.
Let me say this. Just
as president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, check the record. I have never gone on strike against tax. But when the tax policy is being formulated, I do everything to ensure that it is a progressive taxation, which is to say, the more you earn, the more you pay. It shouldn't be a flat curve. It should be a sliding scale, depending on your scale of income.
Let me jump in.
Don't use the word that poor people. Number two, there is the issue of VAT.
I was going to ask you that question.
Okay,
let me pop the question here. The issue of the possibility of an incremental progression of VAT and increase from 5% to 7.5% and the potential future hike to about 10%, 12.5% and 15%, which the law has projected that those who fear that may lead to inflation. And in the very delicate economic situation, and what we are saying over the years, what are your views about that?
I need to talk straight because we have very little time. You know, we can't be hypocrites. And to be in fairness to the opposition, Atiku and Obi. Obi is a big businessman. He's a rich man. He lives on profit and dividends, both from his bank and from his trading company. Atiku has even told the world that he started doing business even as a civil servant. So conventionally, the business community are not they are not interested in higher taxes. So it's consistent with the conservative tradition. But Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in line with progressive tradition, has insisted that the rich people must pay more taxes to run the country. After all, if you are not rich, you will not buy, you will not drive SUV. And the more SUV you drive, the more pressure you put on the road, the wear and tear. The worker who earns 500,000 naira a year, 800,000 naira a year, may buy one 1.2 liter engine. We put little or no pressure on the road. So, on the issue of VAT, for me, the beauty of VAT is this. You don't pay it if you don't consume. And it's always exempt food. Now, as a worker that I have been, and I still do work, I know that those who earn less than or about 500,000 naira a month, which will translate to about 6 million naira a year, by the time they pay for their food, which is taxes that they buy their gari, their rice, their tomato, their okra, all of these are free from VAT. By the time they meet their basic needs, and there's even an allowance for credit for rent, you will find that they will not pay much of VAT because VAT is paid on luxurious consumption, not basic need. The average Nigerian worker at best is happy when he can have 3 square meals a day. Those 3 square meals, unless he chooses to buy imported salmon, imported fish, imported food item. But the typical Nigerian worker, urban or rural, we eat gari, Nigeria made. Cassava, Nigeria made. Pounded yam, Nigeria made. Palm oil, Nigeria made. Granite, you name it. Most of 80% of his income goes on food, and food is exempted from VAT. But when you and I choose to buy SUV car, or want to buy Mercedes, or want to buy Toyota, whatever, then you have to pay VAT. The worker who doesn't buy a car can't pay VAT for that. So if you look at the spending pattern of the poor, those you refer to, the working families who are living from hand to mouth, who basically are such that they do not have anything to spare for luxury. Even if they have appetite for luxury, they just can't afford it. They will be tax exempt. But why VAT is important is that in a country where business people hire tax consultants to bury their real level of profit and even what they earn. You know, the interesting thing about being big in a market-driven economy is that you invite somebody, you go for breakfast and you say it's a business breakfast. It's net from your pocket. You have official lunch to discuss business. It's net of your costs. You have dinner to host some business community, some friends, and so to discuss affairs of the company. Even if it's your family business, you can credit it as company expenses. But the worker doesn't have that option. So where they cannot escape, when they buy private jets, as they do, when they buy yachts, as they do, when they buy 400, 500, 600 SUV cars, as if they were car dealers, they will have to pay VAT on each of those cars. When they choose to buy any of those luxury things that are considered not a necessity, that come within the VAT basket, they have to pay. But Shehu, why is it that Nigerians rush to London for shopping? And as we speak today, they will pay about 20 or 70.5% VAT. And there's no complaint. In the past, UK used to refund it if you are going out of the country because you are expected to pay tax on that item at destination. But now they don't even refund it. So everywhere in the world, when you buy so much non-basic, non-food items, you pay VAT. Nigerians are pay VAT in America. They are paying VAT in London. They are paying VAT in Dubai. Why they don't want to pay VAT in Nigeria? I think VAT is the most equitable because the beauty of it is that I cannot consume more than I earn. And if you earn so much and you consume as much as you earn, then you pay much more taxes on it.
All right, give me a moment.
So for me, this is the beauty of VAT.
We're due for a break. But again,
if we are going to reduce borrowing, if we are going to reduce borrowing, two things must happen. And we are going to protect our exchange rate. We must gradually move away from conspicuous consumption that is import-driven to local consumption. The second is that we must spend less. Do you see how much people spend to host a one-year birthday of a baby? Do you know what they hire for International Conference Center? And complete with live band and all of that? Those are things that should be properly taxed.
All right, give me a moment. We are doing for a break, Senator.
You want policemen to be well paid. You want the armed forces to be doubled. I want the policemen to be doubled, armed forces to be doubled. I want their salary to be attractive. I want them to have latest technology. That money has to be paid for in what is called taxpayers' money in civilized society. Yeah, Nigeria must move towards that direction.
Yeah, perhaps one of the problems is that there are no clear mechanism linking the tax payment from Nigerians to specific public services or outcome, the fueling perceptions of government inefficiency and lack of trust in government. And perhaps there is reasons why some people say, what are the evidence of the tax we paid? But I'd like you to respond to that. Any Nigerian who stand against debating on some of these issues perhaps are having a fear that government is cannot be trusted. But when we return from the break, Senator Adams Oshiomhole seems to still have in him the Labour blood flowing. But well, as being a sitting senator, how much of that can he permit him to be able to defend the Bola Tinubu government? Plus, the politics is eating hard, and there are promises and threats coming that the Bola Tinubu government and the APC will be sent packing in 2027. Don't forget, Adams Oshiomhole is a very good friend of Bola Tinubu. Would they be able to uphold or fend off this pressure coming from the opposition? Those are conversation after this break, everyone. Join us again. Thanks so much, everyone, for staying with us. Senator Adams Oshiomhole, representing Edo State in the National Assembly, former governor of Edo State, former APC national chairman. Well, I don't know whether to call him a former Labour leader, because he says that that Labour blood is still flowing in him. Thanks so much indeed for your time. So, a crucial...
Thank you for your labor for Channel Television. You labor a lot. Every evening when people are having everything, you are here. That is the hallmark of labor.
So I'm a labor man. I'm a comrade.
You don't have to be a comrade. You are a labor man. You live on your wages.
Yeah,
and you work hard for it.
Yes, sir.
That is labor.
Yeah.
And to think that you can behave like the oppressor who collect profit when you don't collect profit, it's your choice.
Let me ask you, sir, why do you think they doctored the document? Nigerians are worried about it. You are a lawmaker.
No, because we don't have enough time. There are things at level of the state. They shouldn't be discussed like Mama Put debate. Laws are not crammed. There are documents, certified documents. So if anybody has evidence that what was passed and satisfied is different from what is being implemented, it's not something to be debated. You bring out the two.
But your colleague in the House of Reps did. He brought it up on the floor of the House of Reps and said the gazetted copy and the one passed by the National Assembly are totally two documents, which KPMG also came out to.
I don't think you are right. The whatever he brought out was after, if he brought something out. Because I read this thing, I no longer believe some of the things I read because we were on recess. When we come back from recess, if somebody have that document, he will bring it. KPMG, you also have to understand. These are big consulting firms who consult for multinationals, companies in Nigeria, oil companies, non-oil companies, big businesses. And typically, they parrot the interest of their clients. And what is the interest of a foreign, because I think part of the thing they raised was about taxing, I'm not sure of the detail now, of expatriate who pay taxes here or pay taxes at home, stuff like that. As far as I'm concerned, KPMG's business is not. The day my views begin to align with the views of big business, then I have lost it. When big business protests about the laws that are made, of which I am a part, I celebrate. Because, think about it, who consume more power in Nigeria than big businesses? Who use the roads more? Who ply the roads with heavy trucks? Is it the worker on level 10, level 15? So I believe that, I want to make this point. President Tinubu is consistent with the democratic, with progressive values, left values that Taxes must be paid by those who are supposed to pay it and be ruthlessly collected. It is not a civil obligation. It's a criminal thing if you breach the tax law. And he has to send people to prison if they decline and if they doctor the tax books. That is what every government should do. Let me ask you, if we were one of these even African countries that don't have oil, I remember the debate between Tanzanian foreign minister then and the Nigerian oil minister who was saying that the price of oil has collapsed. And Tanzanian minister said, oh, how I wish we just have oil just to consume. We can't even sell at all. Right? They run their own countries 100% on taxes. We must move away from the illusion that we are doing the MTF. And that MTF is largely determined on what are we likely to produce in crude. How much is the crude oil expected to be? We must move away from that to really interrogating how much can we collect as legitimate tax in order to provide legitimate services. Now you are telling me people are saying because they don't see they are not sure what will be done. So because the man is not sure what the wife will do with the eggs, but he wants an omelette, he's not sure. He said, but don't touch the eggs because I'm not sure you are going to make a good omelette. But he has to break the egg even to test whether or not he can make a good omelette. Nothing goes without a price.
It's accountability and transparency.
Yes, there's
Nigerians are that every money
you
that
can
is
say
meant for the people, for
about
the state, should be judiciously. And there are those who are asking, Senator, that there should be a proper mechanism of matching the monies to be collected, the revenue generated from taxation, to specific projects and governance in Nigeria. Those are the issues. Issues of transparency. Are you spending this money?
Now, if I try to problematize what is specific, this country is still at basic need levels. First, there is no question that we need more better roads. There is no question that we need to develop a rail system that is designed by the factor of economic location and economic viability. There is no question that we should have a healthcare system that works for everyone, affordable healthcare. There is no question that no child should be born without going to school. And some governments are more guilty of this than others. I want to see citizens coming out to say, why are our schools having no roof? I will join them. I want to see our poor people saying, why is this class having no teacher? I will join them to protest. Because at the heart of this is that you have paid taxes. The reason Nigerians are sometimes indifferent, even in the face of clear abuse, is because the money is not their money. They will typically say what actually it appears to be, government money. Government has no money. It's citizens' money, and government collect taxes to provide basic facilities, to provide for research and development, to provide for the development of technology, to fund university, to ensure that lecturers are so well paid that the best brains want to go to academics. This will not happen without
Senator, because of our time.
So taxes are meant to serve government. When it's specific, everything is important.
Senator,
don't name one that
there are
is not
some in
important.
the opposition who believe that there is a tendency and the...
Now, about
just
the
a moment,
opposition,
just a moment,
I watched you here and I was very unhappy with you.
Just a moment,
You saw this guy from Kwara,
Bolaji Abdullahi.
Bolaji Abdullahi, saying that President Tinubu did not promise to remove subsidy. And he went ahead and removed it without doing any homework. And you allowed him to get away with that lie.
Senator.
Every presidential candidate promised that. Opposition that are bereft of ideas, that now, I even heard some of them saying the president is manipulating food prices to crash. So they are angry that the food prices are down. When they were when it was 100 naira a bag of 50 kg rice, so you were telling me here, oh, minimum wage worker cannot afford a bag of rice. When did it crash? When Gary crashed? I was seeing people in Lagos with a wrap of gari and say, this will cost me 5,000. Now that a bar, the price has crashed. Every of those basic needs have crashed. I have discovered just recently some of my colleagues who are farmers. They are saying that the cost of food now is such that it doesn't meet the cost of production. As when you were making the money, did you tell the house? You join us in lamenting.
Quickly, because there is no time. Let me ask you.
Well, but don't evaluate us on the basis of those who are frustrated. What these guys have together.
They are Nigerians, and they have the right to be frustrated if they are.
Oh, yes.
But the question
here
is
entitled to their frustration, but I don't go to bump that the government.
The opposition will believe
the government will do what it has to do.
There is a tendency of President Bola Tinubu to put heavy burden on Nigerians in terms of levies and but my question to you, just a moment, if I may pop it, is that we're going into the election year. You are one of those who went to the podium and were speaking on the speaker, getting Nigerians to say Tinubu is the best man for the job. What would you be telling them? Because your opposition are saying time is up for you and your party. It's time to go home. That they think that you have failed Nigerians and you don't have a clue as to govern this country. These are the position of the opposition.
When you say Tinubu is my friend, I was going to tell you he's actually my brother. And I'll tell you why outside, because there's no time. The truth is this. We promise radical reforms.
And that has radical implication on the pockets of the average person.
Which average person? You pick this from the mouth of the people. No. Have you gone to see people complaining? There are Nigerians now who are saying
cost of production,
food is becoming too cheap.
Cost of living.
Cost of living is what now?
They're being impacted. No, I'm saying that from the time the president got into office and the policies, there are evidence, there are factors.
Excuse me, you are watching Davos. Where do you have static price for 2, 3, 4 years? The question is, what is the rate of inflation? Not whether there is inflation. The world is dynamic. And the forces that drive these factors, some are under your control, some are not under your control. You see the amount of time a world power president spent today addressing the world, and nobody could time him. Because what he decides to do or abstain from doing can change local calculations. So, this reducing serious economic issues, macroeconomic issues to sentiment, we are suffering. A bag of rice was 100,000 naira, we are suffering. It has dropped to 50,000 naira or even less than that, we are suffering. Rice could not, a bar was not available. Now, people say it is too cheap that the farmers don't want to go and grow cassava. Then you still say prices are not affordable. So we did not promise miracles. In 2.5 years of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, every day there is something changing. And like I said, I think it was at this Bala Osman's 50th colloquium. I said, this is a society in which people like Obi will say, you can't keep doing the same thing all over and expect different outcome. Okay, now Tinubu is doing something totally different. Not just reforming, radically reforming. And then you say, why is he reforming?
You're not worried that the voters will punish you for those reforms.
This is where people like you should make the distinction between a petty politician who is seeking victory, election victory, and a statesman who wants to build a nation state. He wants to build Nigeria for tomorrow. That is the difference. But Tinubu didn't need the salary of a president. The only thing that justified the stress, the abuses, the misunderstanding that is going through is a commitment to make a name and stamp his name in the sand of time. That it was in his time that XYZ were reformed. He may not be ultimately the beneficiaries of these reforms. It would have been nice to see by 2031, because by the special grace of God, Tinubu is winning 2027 election. By 2031, I don't even pray for any of these people who are seeking power out of frustration. When a man says he's hungry of power over 2 years, no, we don't owe him. That sense of entitlement will not be there. But I would like to see a government that will come and say, you know what, I abolish the taxes.
All right, Senator, we are totally out of time. But don't worry, when you get outside, you will see the sky. That is what. That's what the president
My
told
brother
me.
has always said, Adam, no matter how short you are, when you look up, you can see the sky.
Even on the television,
And I can confirm
no
to you,
matter
I'm
what,
seeing
how
the sky.
vertically challenged you are, if you sit on this chair, the camera will see your face.
You know, I asked them not to adjust the seat because they adjusted this for you to look taller than me, and I refuse.
I am taller than you, Senator.
So they adjusted.
I have the advantage over you. You have age advantage over me.
Because you have 1 inch.
It's an advantage. Senator Adams Oshomole, former governor of Edo State, former national chairman of the APC. Thanks so much indeed for your time tonight.
So it's always a pleasure to face your interrogation and all that you do. But it is for the good for the people. I think public debate is at the heart of democracy.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much everyone for watching. I'm Sean Okimale. God bless Nigeria.